You're listening to the Oklahoma Onstage podcast. We're glad you've joined us. We can be found on most platforms as well as Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you have any comments or questions, we'd love to hear them. So, drop us an email at oklahomaonstage@gmail.com or use the comment form on our website, which is oklahomaonstage.org. If you like the podcast, please share it with someone. And now, sit back and enjoy another great episode.
Welcome back, everybody, to Oklahoma On Stage. As always, I'm Tim. I'm your host. Some theaters are built to entertain. Others are built to transform. In Tuttle, Oklahoma, a small but mighty arts movement is doing both. And it's happening inside a building that has become a heartbeat for creativity, education, and community connection. 4th Street Theater isn't just a stage. It's also the home of Act 1, the Arts Council of Tuttle, and the Oklahoma Children's Acting Guild, a trio of organizations working together to make the arts accessible, meaningful, and alive for people of all ages. And at the center of that movement is a leader whose passion for community arts is reshaping what's possible in a small town. She's the driving force behind 4th Street Theater's mission to create opportunity, spark imagination, and build a thriving arts culture in Tuttle. We're about to dive into the story behind the stage, the program's changing lives, and the vision for what comes next. Oklahoma Onstage family, please join me in welcoming Krislyn Gottman to the podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're glad you're here. So, like we do with most everybody, because it seems to be the best way just to kind of get things going, we'll start with you. How did you get started in theater?
So my aunt, she started a show, she wanted to do a community show that was just mainly for kids though, but she wanted to open up to the community. And obviously she was like, you've got to be in it because you're my niece. And then my brothers were both in it as well. And I was 15 at the time, and we did Little Abner here at the Opera House, which is unfortunately now it burned, but like it used to be amazing. Like it was this really huge like a saloon style building, and had all these really cool old names from like the early 1900s in it and 1800s. It was amazing. And so we did Little Abner there, and it was so much fun, right? I mean, so much fun. And she was like, well, this is obviously going to be something that will go well here. And so she decided to start the Oklahoma Children's Acting Guild, and that was in 2002. And so, I mean, I've been doing it for a while now, obviously. And I was always on the dance team, and I danced competitively, and I've taught dance forever. And so I helped with the musical numbers, right? I helped choreograph those. And I wasn't really sure that this was going to be something that I was going to do for like the rest of my life. Obviously, that's the case. But she started that, and it was just like such a great time. It's like life-changing for me. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
No. Theater's all about that. It strikes a chord with all of us. There's emotions involved with it, and you don't ever have to apologize for that, because I guarantee you there's people that are listening that can connect with that right where you're at. So,
well, when we started the group up, it was only on Saturdays, and it was like very small. There were about maybe 15 of us, but we were all about the same age. There wasn't a lot of younger kids, and so it was like we knew each other from living here. Very small community. And so it was kind of nice because I didn't really hang out with the people that were in the group. And so it kind of brought us together like that as well. And then in 2009, she actually passed away. So I took it over, like, because the kids were like, we just want to finish one show and we want to like do it in honor of Marissa. Marissa was her name, Marissa Lee Pace Keith. And I was like, sure, let's do one more show and like in her name. I just love it so much. And I love the kids so much. And so we were working out of a church for a long time. And of course, you know, you have to move on. You have to do different things if you want to keep growing. So we got this building in 2016. So this is officially 10 years. And like I said, every single year I'm like, am I going to be doing this for the rest of my life? And I think I might be.
Now, this building, I can guess just from the look of it, it was a church as well. Is that correct?
It was actually. And it was actually the place where Mark York, he actually works professionally on Broadway right now. He does musical, like plays the piano professionally, and he also teaches children. He actually wrote a play that we did here called Lost in My Wonderland. I think like 6 or 7 years ago. Anyway, so Mark York, he actually wanted to start a children's group in Oklahoma City. And Marissa, my aunt, and Regina, my aunt, even my mom, she did a couple of them, but she wasn't really as into it. Both of them, though, were one of his first students. And Marissa was his first student. And his father was the pastor here.
Okay.
Whenever they lived in Tuttle. And so it kind of came full circle. We got the building for really cheap, obviously, because the church wasn't looking to make any money off of it. They just wanted to move to a new place. And so it was really like a fate thing, we felt like. And it was really nice because everyone is so involved in it in my family. And so we all know Mark. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good when doors open like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that pulls you into the arts? So it's one thing, it's one thing for a family member or a friend or whatever to open an opportunity and say, hey, we want you to come do this. But what is it when that process gets going and when you get involved with, what is it that connected with you?
Well, whenever I was a teenager, it was just really easy. And it was like a really easy thing for me to do. It came naturally to me. I'm not saying that I was amazing or anything, but like just being on stage in general, it was just an easy thing. And so it was almost like my escape from the real world, obviously, because it could be somebody else. And I think that's what kept me doing it, though. Is like, for me as a child, it was about escaping my reality, however it was, and becoming somebody different. But I loved to see the reactions from the audience, and I loved to see the joy that they had. And of course, I love to give that to other kids now. Like, that's my joy now, is to share my love with other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before 4th Street in Act 1, you started with your aunt and building this thing up and eventually took it over. What did that journey look like for you between start and now? What all took place in there?
It's kind of just been a whirlwind. Like, I don't really know like how to explain it. I don't remember a lot of things that happened. I just know that like I just always stayed involved in it, and then I was more involved with it, and now I'm even more involved with it. So I'm really not sure how to answer that question, okay. But I know it's been a good time. I can't imagine my life without it. So.
Well, that's most of us. I can guarantee you, and I hear that so often from so many people. Is their life is this along the way, and then all of a sudden they find theater. We deal with, I get stories like that a lot on here of people that find theater late in life, and then they can't. They're like, why didn't I find this sooner? Yeah. That seems to be the thing. And once it bites, it doesn't let go.
For sure.
So, so talking about this for the kids, bringing this program, building something that's for the community, but also for the children and all that. What personal values or experiences help shape the way that you lead this organization?
I'm a firm believer in the kids need to treat this as like a second job or as their job, because I want to teach them life skills. And I want them to be able to compare the way that they perform and the way that they rehearse, especially the rehearsing, to how they're going to be as human beings later on in life. Because a lot of these kids aren't going to be actors professionally, and probably not even for fun. They find joy in it now, but like they're not that passionate about it to continue doing it later on. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And so it really does matter to me that they take the skills that they learn here and apply them to be successful later on in life.
Absolutely.
We all know that audition is literally just a interview, and it's an interview for a job. And then, of course, how they rehearse is how they're going to work. How they perform on stage under pressure is how they'll give presentations and give speeches. And so I really do think that there's such a correlation to it. I mean, you've heard all the world's a stage, and the men and women merely players. I mean, that is true, and I feel like that is my driving force as well. I don't like treat the kids super nicely, but they're better for it. And I'm not saying I'm mean to them or anything, but their parents are always like, oh, I don't know how you get them to do that. Like when you get like a 5-year-old to run through the audience and do exactly what they're supposed to do. Well, I mean, it's the kid. He knows it's his job, and he has a job to do, and it's special to him because it's his specific job. And that's kind of how I do it here. I try to make sure that the kids know that they are so important to the show, and without them, it wouldn't happen. And trying to make that to where it's something that they can take on later in life. That's my goal, is that they can just remember where they came from here and know that it was worth it. Even if they don't love it to that extent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm just talking in circles or not, but
No, it's great. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I think that theater is one of those things that, especially for children, helps to build that confidence that like you said, that they need later on in life. You know, job applications or job interviews and performance and all that stuff. It's all part of it. You know, I mean,
Yes.
when we look at some of the biggest people we see on the television, you know, if we're talking politics or you're talking anything in the news or whatever, a lot of those people wouldn't be where they are if it wasn't for some form of theatrical production.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so it's life. It is what it is. So, 4th Street Theater has been operating for how long now?
4th Street Theater is specifically since 2016.
Okay. So what was it? So what was it before it was 4th Street Theater?
It really wasn't anything. We only got the name for the building because we got the building.
Okay.
And so before that, we were just working out of a church, and we were just the Oklahoma Children's Acting Guild, which is what Marissa started in 2002. And so like we really didn't have a name because we were just a group of kids that got together and had fun and did shows. And we kind of toured around the state sometimes, like during festivals and stuff. We were just having a good time. But then when we got here, it was obviously a little more serious, and we wanted to actually like put a theater name out there that people could come and see. And so 4th Street Theater is our home, and then the Oklahoma Children's Acting Guild works in that space, and the Arts Council produces shows in that space. And so it's really just defines the building and the space and the community, because like we don't have adults in the Oklahoma Children's Acting Guild, obviously, but they do things here at the 4th Street Theater. So it's kind of like our community branch, if you would.
Okay. So obviously the Children's Guild started first. Became 4th Street Theater. How did the Arts Council of Tuttle, which is effectively Act 1, how did that come about?
Both my aunts wanted to do a nonprofit because they were hoping that they'd be able to support other kinds of arts in Tuttle. We have a dance studio. We have a lot of Indian nations right here that do dancing and art exhibits and stuff. So we were trying to like figure out a way to also help them out as well, just like all the arts in Tuttle and the surrounding areas. Of course, this is a pretty small area right here. So it didn't quite work out for the first like 10 years because it was back in, I think, early 2000s when they started it. But recently we've restarted it, and it definitely is still a work in progress. We're trying to get to where we can get more grants. We're trying to figure out grants and stuff, and it's just, we are not those kind of people. You know what I mean? Like, God bless those people, because I don't even know.
Yeah.
I look at the information, I'm like, are grants really, do we really need them? But
Yeah.
so we're starting to get into that finally, and I don't even remember the question. What was the question you had?
We'll just talk about, you know, how did it all come about? This trifecta of arts. Still, how did that all come together?
I gotcha. Well, okay, so we're just trying to make sure that we can perform shows here still, and support local art and dance and just all kinds of performance-based things around the city. And of course, it does help us as well, obviously. Um, and so, yeah, we're trying to just continue to build up all the programs and trying to continue to get the word out and see how far we can reach with our nonprofit, and then of course how we can build our theater um, and our acting group as well. Because it ebbs and flows with the kids.
Of
Because
course.
I had 4 graduate this year. That's a lot because we have about, I would say, between 20 and 25 on a good year, and then 15 to 20, and then sometimes we're like at 12. You know what I mean? And so of course we want the group to be larger. Um, And so it's like, it kind of just helps. We have all the different um, programs to reach out and to try to get more people to come to the theater,
Okay.
basically.
All right. So now, is this both rehearsal and performance space?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So what would you say are some of we talked about, the grants and all, what would you say are some of the biggest hurdles in getting this theater and the nonprofit off the ground?
Definitely the grants, but we are also not excellent at like taxes and things. That's also been quite the struggle. And it's been a struggle since we got the building in 2016. We definitely have a hard time with that. And we have a hard time with actually making people pay for things sometimes. I'm actually the bad one at that because sometimes they're like, well, can we do this camp? And I'm like, yeah, just come do it. And then people are like, you should make them pay for it. And I'm like, but I want someone to be there. So I think that's it too, because it's still such a small town.
Right.
And I know people have hardships. And so that's also another thing. So it's like keeping it open because you like have to make money. I don't know. It's just hard for me
No.
to like say, hey, you got to pay or you can't
Yeah.
come. And so that's why our community shows are free. Like you can be in those shows without paying anything. Like you have to buy a shirt if you want one. And then of course your family buys tickets and stuff to help the theater out. But community shows are free. And then the acting group, the Oklahoma Children's Acting Guild, it's called OCAG for short, if we can call it that. They pay monthly because they're part of the theater's their company. Like they're our company members. So we have award shows and we have all these things that we do, and they get to be at all of them. They get to sing at all of them if they want to. They always get lines in shows, even if they're 10. And so like it's beneficial to be a part of it. And then of course the shows are free for the community. And we do 3 community shows every year, and then 2 specifically for OCAG.
Very nice. So that question really doesn't apply because you've been involved with this for a long time. The question was there a moment early on that made you think this is going to matter to people?
Probably when Marissa passed away. And I didn't realize how much the kids like loved it. I knew I loved it when I was a kid, but I didn't realize. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because you never think that your experience is someone else's experience until you see it.
Yeah.
So it was then 2009.
So yeah, I mean, I can see where they were so involved with it, and then having something like that happen, and then they're like, we don't want it to stop. Who's going to keep it going?
Yeah.
And so you obviously said, it touched something in you, so you wanted to make sure that it was going. Did you ever stop and think that I'm not the person to do this?
Like every day. Every single day. And that's kind of selfish of me because I would rather be on stage than behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that if I don't do it, then no one else will.
Right.
And although my family does love doing it, they definitely don't want to be in charge of it.
Right.
So it's not like it's a hindrance. Like I want to do it, but I do know that if I stopped, it would also end.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody would pick it up at some point, but it wouldn't be this.
Yeah.
It would be either through the school or it'd be through another church. And so, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but of course, through the school, it's only kids. There's no community necessarily. They can still do those, but not usually. And then through the church, sometimes people don't feel like they can go there to do things because it might be over religious or it may be like, do you know what I mean? Like,
No.
and I feel like that's one of the reasons why we had to move out of the church that we were in previously, is because people were like, well, we don't want to do a religious show. And I'm like, well, we don't do religious shows. And they're like, yeah, but I don't want this or this. And I was like, but this is just community theater. We're just located in a church. And so, I mean, it brings its own issues. It was a great place. We loved being there. It just had its own problems. And so I think that having a building is so good, is for people to feel like they can come in. They know what's going to happen here. They know it's going to be a place for kids, but also for at all ages. And so, I think that if I stopped doing it, then no one would do it. And I do want it to continue.
Absolutely. So looking at the Children's Guild, the Acting Guild, what makes that guild unique?
Well, we meet for 2 hours once a week. And we kind of like play acting games, and we'll have fun. And then we also rehearse for shows in that time. And it's all year. Like even through the summer, we just do it every single Saturday. And the kids kind of grow up together in that, and they are friends outside of the group, and they go to church together outside of the group, and they do other things together, activities. But they always come back here and they do the shows, and they never get tired of each other. And so I do feel like the acting group is a little bit different, because it's just a place where you can see your friends, but you don't get tired of your friends because you're acting and you're just having a good time. And I don't know how to explain it, but also it is nice because they can do the community shows and they get the benefits of that. And we have a good time.
You also started through the Children's Guild, a homeschool enrichment program.
Yes.
How did that begin?
Well, we have a lot of homeschool parents that were in the shows. My aunt also homeschooled, and the group has kind of built up more of homeschool kids now than public school kids now. And so they were just wanting an extra day where they could come up and do art and dance and theater, because they need those credits for their homeschooling as well. Or if they do EPIC, like we do that as well, and other online schooling. And they come here and then we give them the credits or whatever, but like they get to enjoy having a good time here, and they get to be on stage. Like even when they're just playing around, they're on stage doing their improv and stuff like that. And then of course they get to do the art and painting, and we do dance, and we also do ASL, and we're going to be doing Spanish next year, because I mean, all forms of language are also performative if you're learning them. So,
Sure.
And then, and that group it ebbs and flows too, but it's gotten bigger, especially here in Tuttle. I feel like we have a lot more homeschooling families than we used to have. And so it's a good thing for the kids to have another place they can go as well. Because, I'm the homeschooler, so they're at home all the time.
Yeah.
And so getting out and having a good time is always good for them. And they always, that's what they always say is their favorite thing about the homeschool classes, is that they're leaving their house to have a good time with their friends. And I'm like, that's a win.
Yep.
So
what kind of impact have you seen with that program?
A lot of them are shy when they get there, and they're like, I just don't want to do it. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, but you're going to want to. You're going to want to, because you're going to get applause, and you're going to never want to not get applause again. And that's usually how it is. And they'll do the show, and they'll be like, oh, I'm so shy. And I'll be like, stop that. I don't want to hear it again.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as they do the show and their parents, and I'm always like, your parents love you. You can do no wrong. All you can do is get on stage and have a good time, because if you do anything, your parents are going to think you're amazing. And it makes them a little bit less anxious. And then they get up there and they perform, and most of them join the group afterwards. Like they're like, well, I want to be more involved in this. And so it's not a stepping stone necessarily, because now people do both. But I do feel like a lot of those shy homeschool kids, this is where they like flourish.
Yeah.
Like, because they don't learn in the same way as other kids do, or they want to learn differently. And so this is like a really good place for them to kind of get their neurodivergence a little bit going out there and stuff. And the kids are crazy, but they are amazing. And I really do love our homeschool group. Lots of good kids in there.
Yeah. So you offer everything from youth productions to piano lessons, seasonal camps. How do you decide what programs to offer?
A lot of the things that we've been doing for years. And so people will usually ask, do you do piano lessons? And so eventually I was like, we should just do piano lessons because I've gotten so many people. And I do know people who play the piano, so it worked out. But normally it's definitely a request, by request type thing. I dance, like I told you, I've danced my entire life. Of almost over 30 years now, I've danced. And it was huge when I was younger. And I danced competitively. And people are always asking me to do more dance classes or do dance camps. And I'm like, because we have the studio over here as well. And I know the studio owner, obviously. I used to teach there as well. So I'm like, I don't know if we should do that or not. And then I do these camps because they're like musical theater camps or acting camps. And I've started doing K-pop dance camps, which I truly love because I love K-pop. But it really, I think too, there's a huge aspect of, will I enjoy it as well? Because I don't know if it's also like because I want to be a performer as well. But like, if I don't have a good time doing it, I don't think the kids are going to have a good time doing it.
Oh, sure.
And the kids, they are a lot like me. And I think that maybe it's because I'm still a child, but we do things and we all, we want to do that. Yes, let's do that. And I'm like, that sounds great. Let's do it. Let's do this K-pop dance camp. And so it's kind of like a back and forth. What do the kids want? What are they looking forward to? What do they get excited about? What are the parents willing to bring their kids to? And then what am I willing to like give up my evenings for?
Yeah.
Because I work a full-time job as well. And then I do this. And so it is hard. Like, what am I willing to give up an extra 2 hours for?
Right.
Because like for the dance camps, for example, we teach them a whole dance, but they learn a whole dance every day. So today we learned an entire dance, and I learned that dance last night.
Oh
so it's like, I love it though. I have a really good time dancing in general. And so it definitely is a collaborative effort on what we give and what we don't give, especially when it comes to things that I do specifically. I don't teach piano. I can't play piano very well. I can one finger it, but that's about it. And so if people are doing that, great. Yeah, I'll send them that way. But if it comes to like me doing it, it definitely is more collaborative with the kids. Am I guaranteed to have people who will come do it? That type of thing. So that's really the main driving force is like, will everyone enjoy it? Everybody as the whole.
Okay. How do you go about balancing, because you talked a little bit about the community service, you do 3 of those a year. How do you go about balancing providing for the kids, offering something for the adults, and then the broader community all at once?
That is a great question. I don't know. I feel like that question is the same as when parents or people will come and say, I don't know how you do it all, like with work and with this. And I'm like, I don't know either. I really do enjoy it. And that does help. The acting group is only on Saturdays, and we don't really do that any other day unless we're getting ready for a show and it's an extra rehearsal once a week or something. And then the community shows, those are specific to their time. Obviously, like we have a month and a half. And those rehearsals are not really in the way of the acting group rehearsals. So, and I try really hard to not schedule them a lot and to make the rehearsals a little bit longer, like maybe 3 hours instead of just like an hour and a half or something. And that way the adults get here and they can do their things, but the kids aren't here every single day of the week. And I try to schedule the adults separately as well, just so that, they go to work and then they come here late. And it's just definitely a balancing act to get the rehearsals for that, and then not to overwhelm the kids who are in the group and the kids that are in the homeschool group. Because if you're doing rehearsal every night for show and you're in homeschool for 6 hours on a Thursday and you're in 2 hours of OCAG, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
And so you definitely have to make sure that you don't overwhelm anybody. But for the outside things, we are actually trying to do a couple more outreach programs where we're like in a tour again, I think, because we had a lot of fun doing that when I was in the group. We sometimes sing at the nursing home here, and we're going to be doing a big festival for 4th of July. And so, because we do that too. We do an Easter event and a Halloween haunted house. The whole building becomes a haunted house. And then we're going to be doing the 4th of July. And we also do a pumpkin patch here every year for like the entire month of October.
Wow.
So, yeah, I don't know. I wish that everything was like awesome, but I feel like maybe it's just all kind of like a good time. So that's just, I don't know. It's just the balancing act is just a balancing act. I don't know how better to explain it. I'm really not great at doing a bunch of things, but I guess I am. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
It's like spinning plates on top of sticks, and you just keep them all spinning.
Yeah, and I just forget that the plates are there, and then I'm putting something else on top of it.
Yeah.
Something else on top of that.
Absolutely.
So
is there a moment from either class or camp or a youth show that has really stuck with you?
I think that mainly the things that stick with me are like the kids when they finally realize that they love theater, or when they finally figure something out and they're like, oh my gosh, I got it. And I'm like, thank goodness, because like that's all I'm doing here. All I'm doing here is trying to help these kids figure out, do they love this? How does this work on stage? Can you do this dance step? Can you hit this high note? Can you hit this low note? And so like the kids getting to that point where they're like, I can do this, or I love this, or, I can't do this, but I want to work towards this.
Yeah.
I love those things.
Yeah.
And that happens. I don't know. It happens all the time, honestly, because some of the kids are pretty young. Our young Tarzan is 5. And so he came to rehearsal last week and he did not want to sing in front of anybody. And I was like, buddy, it's okay. And so I sang with him. And then he sang louder than me and I stopped because I was like choking, because that's like what I do. And so I was coughing and he kept on going, and then he stopped and looked at me and I was like, you did it by yourself? And he was like, I did do it by myself. He still hasn't sung in front of anybody else yet, but it was nice that he was able to realize that was a possibility for him.
Absolutely.
So, because I think that he probably was going to have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
So we try to get them on stage as fast as possible so that they can see what it looks like, because sometimes that's the scariest thing, is just seeing out from the stage. I make sure that every time we watch, we applaud. And I'm like, good audience members make good actors, and good actors make good audience members. And if they're not paying attention, I'm like, are you guys being good audience members right now? And so I think that also helps them get through all the anxiety, because they know people are watching them and they get that applause. And then they're like, I like this. I want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest. I just love that. I just love the moment that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah. In the training world, we call those aha moments.
Yes.
When everything just clicks.
Yes.
And they're like, that's it. And a lot of times you can see that. I've been a trainer for many, many years, and you can usually see it on their face.
Yes.
When it's, oh.
Yeah.
And it's there. And when you see that look, just like you were saying, that makes it all worth it.
Yes, for
it
sure.
makes the hills and the valleys all worth it. So talk about what you guys are doing today. For someone to walk into 4th Street Theater for the first time, how would you describe the atmosphere?
It's more like a black box theater than a big theater that has huge shows. We do huge shows here. Like we've done Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. We did Oklahoma a couple of years ago. Once Upon a Mattress was last year. So we always do big shows, but it's definitely a black box. You walk in and it's very dim. It's very dark in here. We don't have the lights up very bright. It's echoey because it's so small, and it's obviously open. But then like the stage is just right there in your face. And we just recently built it up. It was even shorter than this before, because it was a church. And so like we dance in the audience. We move sets and props to the audience, and actors are always out here doing things in the audience. And when we do like our spotlights and stuff, we are in their faces, because they sit at round tables and we're like dancing and singing at them. So they can definitely come in and expect a good show with kids who are passionate about what they do and having a good time. And then just like a small town, small theater vibe. But still like having it still has quality to it, because that's another thing that we always tell the kids, is that would you pay to come see this? Would you want your parents to pay to come see this? Would you want a stranger come and see you do this? And they're always like, yeah, okay. And they just get in gear, they walk in, right? And so there's definitely some quality to the shows that we have here too. So we're hoping that people come in and just like love it and feel like it's really intimate, but also big show titles, and they can just have a good time.
Nice. I like that. So what do you think sets this theater apart from other community theaters in the region?
Definitely that it's so small. Because when you first come in, you're like, wow, this is bigger than I thought. And then you're like, wow, how many seats does this actually have?
Mhm.
And we actually seat 60. We have red chairs here, but they are out. They're out because we were doing spotlight with the tables. And we do change out the chairs like 4 times a year, which is crazy. But
That's a lot of chairs.
it is a lot of chairs. And they're connected in a really unfortunate way. And so they're really heavy too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But we have let's see, how does it set it apart? I'm not really sure. I mean, I've been to multiple theaters around here, obviously, and they're all excellent. But I really have not seen a theater that is this small. With like, I mean, it echoes great in here, as you can hear. And so all of our songs are just like really loud, and the kids are really loud, and it's just like almost like a 3D, 4D, not 4D, kind of. I guess if you're in the front row, you might get spit on. I'm not sure, but it's like an experience where it's like surround sound because you are enveloped by it.
Okay.
And for Tarzan, we're actually going to be putting a bunch of greenery in the ceiling, and we're hoping that they walk into the jungle. And so immersive is what I would say. Like we really try to get the audience involved in the show, and not necessarily to where they have lines or have to get up or anything, but it's that they feel like they are on stage with us type thing. So
Very nice. So what's a recent production or event? You talked about the evolution and things being, struggling at times and all that. Is there a recent event or production that felt like a turning point for the theater?
I don't know. I don't know. We have a lot of the same people do our shows. Like we don't really get a lot of new people. Unfortunately, I would love to have like all the new people, and then they can stay or go or come back or whatever. But we have a lot of the same faces, which is good. I think that I know a lot of people, their favorite show that we've done here is Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. It's a fabulous show. And it was like we got new lights, like all these lights are new for that show. And it was a bunch of color, and we had the disco lights going off during Go-Go Joseph. And I think that may have been a really nice turning point for me, because it's like, look at the possibilities just with lights, like what we can do. And I think every show in that way, though, is kind of like that for us here, because we do shows, and I'm like, we did that. Like, we did that show. That set moved all across that stage and then left the stage. And it was, 8 feet tall or whatever. And then we were like, well, that show, that kid was 6, and that kid sang that part perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, it is nice to have major things that happen, but I do feel like every show builds up to where we know that we're capable of better shows, better quality of shows, and just better quality of like education for the kids. And I do think that is a good thing. We haven't had a show in recent memory where I've thought, wow, we did not do any better this time. You know what I mean? Like, we're always trying to grow.
Yeah.
And I do feel like we always grow something during a show, which is nice.
Well, I think that's important. I mean, if you're not moving forward, there's a problem.
Exactly.
I think I heard it said one time, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. So what's something the community has done that has surprised or encouraged you guys?
So we just now recently started getting sponsors, our yearly sponsors, annual sponsors. And we kind of started late. And so we didn't get as many as we were hoping to get, because everyone was like, we already gave all our money away. But a lot of them were like, yeah, we'll write you a check right now. And it kind of surprised me, because I feel like, as most small towns in Oklahoma are, and probably everywhere in the United States, they tend to lean towards school activities, sports activities. Our band here is really big. There's not really an art department, a theater department, but like sports is big here. I mean, you saw the stadium when you walked in.
Yes, I did.
That stadium is a $2 million stadium.
That is huge.
But the same people who helped build that stadium also sponsor us now.
Nice.
And so I feel like us getting out there and being like, hey, we're doing this. We would like your support too. It is pretty amazing the amount of donors we've gotten. I mean, I know that no one can see them, but those are our donors for this year. And the ones at the top are trading with us. And it's just, I mean, it's like $3,000 worth of trades that they're doing for us. And that is just like amazing.
Nice. So yeah, there's 4 pages hanging on the wall here of multiple sponsors that have signed on to sponsor this theater. And that's amazing.
Yes, because they are like, I mean, obviously the actors are the lifeblood of the theater, but without them, I mean, without our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to keep going.
Sure. Absolutely. So speaking of sponsorships and growth, let's look towards the future. Okay. When you imagine 4th Street Theater 5 years from now, what do you see?
I'm hoping that we are doing still great shows. I would love to be able to offer more activities than I do now. I would love to not be working at my full-time job because I'd like to be able to do things here full-time. And I would like to have the Arts Council just be something that people were like, we can go to the Arts Council. Like I want us to pop up in their head and they can come to us. Because obviously we don't know everything that's going on at all times. And if people are looking for sponsors, we would love for them to think about us first. Or at least about us generally first. And I do think that that's the same for the theater. I'd like the theater to be something that they're like, yeah, that we're seeing a show at 4th Street and everyone's like, oh, we love shows there. Or my kid does dance there. Or my kid does acting there. Or we saw a show there last year and it was so good. What show are you seeing? Like I want to be on the radar more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because as you know, we've been here forever. And I'm forever, like 25 years. It feels like forever for me. But I still have people who come into my job. I work at Sonic, and so I car hop. And people come in and are like, so why are you off work all last week? And I was like, I was doing a show at the theater. And they're like, we have a theater here? And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. This is fine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it has gotten better. I've been doing some social media things personally. Like I have been through my personal accounts. And they have been getting attention. And then I can use that attention to push attention this way.
Yeah.
And I do hope that in 5 years we are more of a, oh yeah, Tuttle has a theater and it's great, you should go. Oh yeah, I've been there. I get pumpkins from there every single year because we do have people who come back and they haven't seen any shows here, but they know we have a pumpkin patch. Or they're like, well, we haven't seen any of your shows, but we do love your haunted house. So we are getting there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be nice. That'd be nice to be known as a place that exists here. So
yeah, excellent. Are there any programs or partnerships that you're hoping to build next?
I have not even thought about that.
Okay.
I mean, obviously that'd be amazing. I don't know like what is even attainable, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Do you have a dream production or initiative or anything like that you haven't tackled yet that you want to?
You know, when I was telling you that I felt like I was pretty selfish because I want to do things that I really want to do. I've done all the shows that we've done. I've wanted to do them. And they've always been shows that I wish that I could be in or that I really love. Like Sear Garden, for example, we've done that show twice. And it is one of my favorite shows and I cry every time. And I've got to be invested. Like I've got to love it. And I don't know why that is because I do love theater and I do love directing and all that thing. But it is much harder if I'm like, oh, I don't really love this thing that we're doing.
Right.
And so I definitely have to be involved in it. So a lot of the shows that I've wanted to do, we've done. And as it for like initiative stuff, I mean, this is the first year we're going to do the 4th of July event. And we used to have an ice cream festival here every year. And it was a long time ago because they stopped doing it. Brahms would sponsor it. Brahms, the factory that's right out of town. and they would give out ice cream, and it was like this huge thing. And we had like 4 or 5 blocks, like completely blocked off, and traffic would come through really slowly. And there was this ice cream pageant for the girls who were like 9 and 10 because they didn't have a pageant at that time that was for their age group. And so then we'd have that, and there'd be a big parade, and then the fireworks display that night. It was always so much fun, and I loved it growing up. And so, like, that is something that I really would have liked to have seen not go away. And so bringing it back is kind of a thing that we've all really wanted to do. And it's the 250th anniversary, obviously. And it's our 25th anniversary as a group that, you know, from 2002 to now. Well, next year will be, but, you know, ignore that.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is a year of anniversaries for us. And so we were like, let's just do it. It's the anniversary of our country, and let's just have a good time with that. And so that's something that I think I'd like more things like that. I would really like to have more events that happen downtown that include the kids. Like, we can sing and do entertainment and stuff and push our shows or whatever, but that we can also kind of be in charge of. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm amazing at organizing an event, but I do get it done. Like, when push comes to shove. So I do think that we could do more events. That would be something that would be nice, and get more people here that aren't necessarily in love with theater, who don't really care for shows. They can still come here and still see the building and see kind of what we're working on. And I mean, people can't see this, but like, we're getting ready for Tarzan, and we've built up, it's too tall, but we've built up this thing for Kala's Nest, and we're going to be building another thing over here for the treehouse. And I think that it's kind of cool when people come in and they see the work in progress. And I'm always a little embarrassed about it, obviously, because I'm like, I'm sorry that there's sawdust everywhere. But people who don't do theater, who just come to the art classes, or they're just coming for dance, or they're just coming for Easter, they look around and are like, wow, this is so cool that you guys are building these sets right here. And so it is nice to have people come in and realize that they are not theater people, and they don't know what goes into it. And so it's like getting more people involved who wouldn't get involved otherwise.
Yeah.
So I think events are good for us. People love events here. So that's something that I would like to do more of in the future. So,
yeah. And I think events, ways that, theaters can connect with the community, I think are great because, again, much like you said, a lot of people don't know that they are theater people until they realize that they are theater people.
Absolutely. I agree.
And it takes theater to make them realize that they're theater people. And so having those events, I think, are great ways to do that. So that's a great idea. So if resources were unlimited,
okay,
those are always great questions. What's the first thing that you'd either expand or create?
My brother is an architect, and he is always drawing up new buildings for us because he's like, someday we're going to have a new theater.
Absolutely.
And so unlimited resources, the dream would be to leave this a black box, but to tear down the rooms in the back and build on this huge new, I'm like turning away, this new theater in this parking lot right here, a tall one that was like an actual theater, not a black box. So we could have 2 kinds of shows, dinner theaters in here, only big shows in there. And then we would build a basement that has piano rooms in it and stuff that was like more soundproof, so that you can go down there and practice singing and stuff, classrooms. And then we would do our top floor because, you have to have it have to match because you have the big audience space here. So we'd have to have something above this, right? I mean, obviously.
Of course.
And so we put costumes up there and props and set pieces and have a big set building area. This is a pretty big lot that we have here.
Yeah.
And then we would build out the 2 sides here and put parking. So that would be unlimited resources. We've also kind of played with the idea of having a 4th Street in another city, like maybe Mustang. Mustang is much larger than us. It's closer to the city, and so it's big. It's booming right now. And so that would be kind of fun too, to have a 4th Street in Mustang.
And that's interesting too, because I interviewed the Mustang High School theater teacher, and I realized something at that point when I was there. There's no community theater in Mustang.
Nope, there's not.
And that's so surprising with the program that she has.
I know.
And the draw that it has from everybody to that program. Why they don't have that in the community. It's amazing. And it's like that all over the states.
Yes. And that's kind of what I was saying before. I feel like if I don't have this here, it's going to be a school thing only, because they're like, well, nobody wants the hassle of owning a building, and no one wants the hassle of maintaining a theater, and like, what if nobody comes to the shows? And that's a possibility. And so she's like, well, I mean, if it's through the school, which I know it's not through the school necessarily, but they do other shows at the school, and so it is through the school.
Sure.
And so like she has the unlimited actors, which they are very talented. I've seen many of their shows. And then she has the tax exemption because she's at the school. And so it's just beneficial.
Yeah.
Like, it really is beneficial. And the building is amazing.
Yeah.
It's so big.
Yes.
And that school is so huge. And so, and I love that for her. I'm like, it's so great. I love going to see shows there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what legacy do you hope that 4th Street Theater and Act One and the Children's Guild, what do you hope that leaves in Tuttle?
Well, I hope that it doesn't have to like necessarily end. Like, if something happens to me, or if I just like decide that I'm too old to do it or whatever, I'm hoping that people want to take up the torch. So I'm hoping that really it doesn't like disappear with me. I'm hoping that it continues going. So obviously it would be nice if they were like, hey, that was a great place and we really enjoyed being there. That would be my biggest thing. We learned a lot and it was a lot of fun, and we have really good memories.
Memories are what shape our stories. That's what it's all about. So as we draw to a close for our time here together, I have this thing that I wrap up every one of our episodes with what we call our curtain call curveballs.
Okay.
They're off-the-wall questions that may or may not have anything to do with theater.
Okay.
But they're designed to just the first thing that pops into your head. Okay. You don't have to think real hard. Matter of fact, we don't want you to think real hard. Literally just the first thing that pops out of your head, okay?
Okay, that might be dangerous, but okay.
Well, that's okay. It's a podcast. It's not radio, so there are no censors.
Okay.
All right, so first question. If you could instantly master any non-art skill, what would it be?
Knowing different languages.
Okay. Any in particular?
I'm working on Korean right now because obviously K-pop. I would like to know that one, and I'd like to know at least one of each of the languages, because they're broken up into different styles. Mm-hmm. So Korean is an alphabetic symbol type language, kind of like Egyptian and those kind of things. And then there's the one that's like Arabic, that's the more script, Jewish, that kind of. I'd like to know one of each of the language types, just because I don't know.
Okay,
well, that'd be great.
Linguists are awesome. So, do you have any weird pre-show rituals?
We do magic circle every time. I don't know if anybody else does that, but we hold hands, and I like tell them the notes from the night before. We usually pray. We squeeze hands in a circle. I remind them that they're a team. I usually threaten them with anything that if they're acting crazy, I'm like, lock in right now. And so like that kind of stuff. And then we always do something in the middle, like we'll say something and like get excited, a saying from the show or something ridiculous, or just lock in. And then we usually like hug each other and stuff. And I know that's not super weird, but that's what we do every show. And the kids look forward to it. When the kids, we missed it one time and something happened on stage where the kids were like, it's because we didn't do Magic Circle. And I'm like, you know what? It might be.
Maybe.
So
you never know. If your life right now had a soundtrack, what would the opening track be?
Well, it'd have to be BTS's their new CD, and it's Body to Body. It has nothing to do with theater at all, but I've been listening to it every day.
There you go. What is something, and I guess we've kind of touched on this a little bit, what is something outside of theater that you totally geek out about?
Definitely K-pop, yes.
It's a K-pop.
Yeah.
We got that. So. Okay, so you get one completely free day, no responsibilities. What are you doing?
I'm going to watch a K-drama, and then I'm going to cross-stitch, which is my old lady habit that I love, or my old lady hobby that I love. And I'm going to get a frappe from somewhere, and I'm going to eat probably a bowl of popcorn.
There you go.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Nice. Okay. What movie or show have you rewatched more times than you'll publicly admit?
Super Troopers.
Okay.
Which is a raunchy comedic thing about police officers.
Yeah, I remember that, actually.
It has the best opening ever. That opening scene is the best opening ever. And you're like into it, and then it goes to the opening credits, and it's like Super Troopers, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just watched the intro of this movie. It's so funny.
Okay. If you could live inside any fictional world for 1 week, where are you going?
Harry Potter. I would go and live at Hogwarts.
That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What's one totally irrational fear that you have?
That I'm never good enough, and that if I do something that I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to do well, then I will disappoint everybody in my life.
Okay.
And I know myself so well. I know that's a fear that I have for everything.
Yeah,
And I have to battle it all the time.
I certainly don't think you're alone with that.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the strangest compliment someone has ever given you?
Well, on some of my videos, people are like, oh, big girl's light on her feet. And I'm like, thank you for that. You know what? Thank you for that. Because you didn't have to say anything, and you said something partly nice.
Yeah.
So I think they're always like, wow, you're actually really good at jumping, or wow, you're really good at dancing fast. And I'm like, thank you. So those are the word compliments.
Yeah. Okay. If 4th Street Theater had a mascot, what would it be and why?
A mascot. I don't know. I know I'm breaking the rules. I'm thinking about it.
Uh-oh.
I have no idea.
That's the problem, is you overthink it and then you can't come up with anything. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking right off the top of my head, Dr. Seuss, or like The Cat in the Hat, because we love that show. We've done it twice here as well. But it's like we just are so silly and off the wall. But then we also know like when to tidy it up and get it going. So I feel like it's kind of like the Dr. Seuss Cat in the Hat, like that book.
Okay.
So we'll take the Cat in the Hat.
Sure. We'll go with it. Well, Krislyn, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you being here. If anyone wanted to get involved with you guys or wanted to contact you, how do they do that?
Well, they can contact me. Text is best. My number is 405-779-1426. Or you can message us on Instagram or Facebook. You can get us on 4th Street Theater or Arts Council of Tuttle Incorporated or the Oklahoma Children's Acting Guild on Facebook. You can also message me personally on Facebook. You can give us a call, but I'm probably not going to answer it, so you have to leave a message.
Okay. And you said that all of your community shows are free?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good.
They're completely free to be in.
Okay. So, what do you guys, you said you're currently doing Tarzan?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And when does that show?
So Tarzan is going to be July 30th through August 1st, and then July 30th 1st to the 2nd, and then August 7th through the 9th. Wow, I'm so sorry. The last weekend in July, and the first 2 weekends in August. So it's 2 weekends in total.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. That's when we usually do our summer shows, and lots of people come to it, and I think it's gonna be really great.
Okay. Well, we'll help get the word out, and hopefully you see your audience get a little bit bigger. So,
well, thank you.
We appreciate your time, and best of luck in all that you're doing.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you as well.
All right. For everybody else listening at home, we thank you for your time as well. Thank you for your drive time, your office time, your home time, whatever it may be. Thank you for listening to us. We appreciate all that you do. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Our website is also oklahomaonstage.org. If you have any comments or questions, email us oklahomaonstage@gmail.com. Thank you to everyone for your support. But other than anything else, continue to support the arts.